Hi all, Old Geek here, and it's about time I did a proper review again. So in this video I will be taking a look at the one Middle-earth product that I have used to a sufficient level in order to enable me to assess it thoroughly and objectively. Bree and the Barrow Downs. This MERP supplement was published in 1984, one of the earliest true MERP supplements, as most of those written earlier came before the game box set was available and had some emphasis on being used with the Rollmaster system. Of course, Bree and the Barrow Downs is fully Rollmaster compatible, as the rule sets are so similar. MERP is basically Rollmaster Lite. But it does feel that with this product, its main focus is on being used directly with MERP itself. The physical presentation is similar to D&D modules of the era. A 32-page booklet with some extra pages in the form of maps, making the total page count about 40. Sadly, MERP modules felt flimsy though. The covers were not as thick as those used for D&D modules and were stapled to the main booklet, which made them a bit more fiddly to use, unless of course you were happy to defile the module and pull it apart. Aesthetically, Bree and the Barrow Downs is highly pleasing. Just look at this atmospheric cover image. It's not exciting, neither is it dynamic. It's just gorgeous. Even better though are the regional and town maps. These are so beautiful that I may have to fade this video to black and go and have a lie down. The artwork in the booklet is functional, but it doesn't matter because those maps. For those who are unfamiliar with the design of these modules, they were not like those most often seen in D&D. The first 15 or so pages of Bree and the Barrow Downs goes into detail regarding the lore of the town of Bree and the nearby villages of Coombe, Staddle and Archet. The history, the geography, politics, economics and key individuals. Then we get about 12 pages on the Barrow Downs, including various specific barrows, their history, maps, lists of treasures and so on. Suggested adventures begin as far back as page 28 and only take up about 3 pages. But this was the common style of the earlier MERP modules. They were setting modules, heavy on the lore, the NPCs and the regional information, with the DM expected to develop adventures from a number of plot hooks that were listed towards the end. It would be another year or two before they started publishing more focused adventure modules. The writing style is pleasing. There are a few snippets where the author has attempted to invoke the style of Tolkien, and the historical and geographical details in there demonstrate an obvious love for the source material. Listen to this bit about one of the NPC families, for example. So this is a bit from Prominent Families and Personalities of Breeland. The Heathertoe clan. No one knows where or when the family got its name, but they say there's always been a Heathertoe in Breeland. The Heathertoe family was one of the original Dunlending settlers of Bree, though they have long since forgotten the fact. There are numerous Heathertoes throughout the region, all of them flourishing. They are all related, but it takes a hobbit to keep track of the various aunts, uncles, in-laws, first, second and third cousins once or twice removed. Old Matt Heathertoes and his son Rory own Heathertoe Farm, the largest farm in Breeland, and are acknowledged the family heads of the clan. So that gives you an idea of how the descriptions are done. There is that Tolkien-esque feel to them. A few points of note though. This module is set more than a millennium before the events of the Fellowship of the Ring. Thus, while people will be familiar with the names of the towns and villages, do not expect to recognise much else. One key example is that the inn in Bree is called the King's Rest. It is not yet known as the Prancing Pony. But it's not a problem, especially when the maps are this beautiful. There are a total of 7 adventure seeds provided, ranging from a nicely detailed raid on the tower at Bar Dindol to this one of just a couple of lines. The prize ram. Bandits have stolen Matt Heathertoe's prize ram. The farmer is offering 15 gold pieces for its recovery. Tracks should be easy enough for a ranger to follow. That's it. In general though, the plot hooks are nicely thematic, but there is one issue with them, and it's an issue that pervades a lot of MERP stuff. The detailed support for low-level adventuring is poor, specifically with regards to a novice first-level party. I would argue that low levels should be the main focus of products such as this, and that the mid and higher level stuff should be the area where the hooks should require more work from the DM. Novice DMs in particular are the ones who would get the most benefit from setting modules, and thus their needs should be the focus. I also think too much of the page count is given over to lists of Barrow contents. That could have been a simple table or two for the DM to pick from or roll on, thus creating more space for development of the plot hooks. So yes, a few complaints. But have I mentioned just how lovely the maps are? On initial examination, it would be easy to criticise the presentation of the Barrows for the amount of loot that they contain, and the amount of magic, because it is meant to be a low magic world. But a quick read of the text dispels that notion. Listen to this. Note, part of the dispelling ritual of the White demands that they be killed for the right reasons, i.e. because it is an evil creature and not because it has some treasure that the Slayer desires. Such an action would lower the adventurers to the level of the evil of the White and make the monster impossible to dispel. To kill a White and to recover an ancient sword desired by the Dunedain is acceptable. Of course, the Slayer is himself entitled to a treasure or two. Under no circumstances should they be greedy. A GM who sees the signs of greed in the player characters should act accordingly. Besides, if one wished to be truly technical about the possession of the treasure, it legally belongs to the King of Arthedain, who is the heir of the Kings of Arnor and a descendant of many of the men and women buried upon the Tern Gorthad. Yep, the party are not expected to be grave robbers. That approach will see them fall under the shadow of evil forces, and they will not be able to slay the Whites that dwell within the Barrows. Good. They also need to seek permission from the town dignitaries before even attempting to open a barrow. Low-level parties need not apply here, as the Whites are nasty. Sadly, MERP modules are expensive nowadays, as they have been out of print for a long time. My physical copy of this one went in the Great Purge of 20 odd years ago, and the only way to get it now is through means, or to find it on the second-hand market. It's typically listed for between £30 and £50 on eBay. If I see a decent copy up for auction with a current price of under £30, you can bet I'll be bidding, as the prices have only been climbing steadily upwards. So, a rating. If it was purely on the maps alone, it would get 11 out of 10. I mean, just look at them. But being sensible, I'm going to give Bree and the Barrow Downs a solid 8. The regional material is superb, but the Barrows are a little bit disappointing. And a little bit more effort should have been made with the plot hooks. But overall, the module is very good. It's a lovely depiction of one of the most famous towns in all of fantasy. And what's not to love about that? Well, I've been the Old Geek once again. Thank you for watching. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Click a like and a subscribe. And let's get pushing to 1,000 so I can give you some free stuff.